This is Ma'am Shomi back again with another one-shot preparation video session. In today's video, I'm going to highlight the key areas which you need to cover before you finish your preparation. Check whether you have covered these sections of your prescribed syllabus. Prepare the significance of the title, and we have already uploaded a video on the significance of the title of the sound machine, the singing lesson and B.Wordsworth. Do check the comment section, the pinned comment for the playlist. Coming back to today's point of discussion, first we will talk about the themes, the sound machine, dedication, passion versus madness. We see in the sound machine, Klausner's intense preoccupation with his machine. Now, what is the meaning of this intense preoccupation? He is always involved working on his machine. He is designing it. He is modifying the machine in order to prove his theory of sounds. And two likely important quotations which you may use: intense concentration, air of urgency about the way he worked. Now, you may use quotations for your answers, but do it correctly. Incorrect usage of quotation will be heavily penalized. That is, your marks will get deducted. Break the lengthy quotations into smaller ones. And if you are not confident, don't use incorrect quotations. It's simple. Next, he is so preoccupied with his machine that he is startled by Dr. Scott's arrival. Klausner forgot to remove the hat from his head. H-E-A-D. This shows the absent-mindedness due to his dedication to make the invention. My dear students, these are just points which I am discussing in order to highlight the areas which you need to focus on. Next, let's see. So, Roald Dahl presents an image of an individual hard at work. He is talking to himself and he is filled with suppressed excitement. And then we also find that he pays a meticulous attention to both the machine's complicated inside, his own diagrams. This shows his passion for knowledge. So if you get a question on the dedication of Klausner, then you will have to write your answers based on these points as well. You're flexible to frame your own answers. Next, some quotations. Klausner, tense, distracted, dreamy and distracted, and there is a quality of distance in him as observed by Dr. Scott. Use simple quotations. A single quotation will help you to fetch good marks, and if you do not quote, no problem at all. Next, now passion. He tests his machine. This is his professional curiosity to prove his hypothesis, draw a conclusion and present his theory. He moves from his makeshift laboratory to the park and then to the garden and then to the park just to test his theory. And this gives way, this passion, this professional curiosity gives way to far more form of unhealthy fixation, his obsession to prove his theory, his absurd actions. Others find him to be rather crazy and rather absurd. The eccentricity of Klausner. Eccentric. This is a new word. What is the meaning of eccentric? Mad or mentally unstable. Learn the spelling. You may use this word eccentric. Don't use abnormal. Eccentric. Mrs. Saunders and Klausner's episode, and then we also have Dr. Scott and Klausner's episode in the park. His absurd actions and his obsession. The quotation, rather peculiar person, completely crazy. Mrs. Saunders thinks of Klausner as a rather peculiar person. And then there is the threatening tone of Klausner. Next, the next theme, loneliness and isolation. natural consequence of total dedication. He is socially detached. We always, in the beginning, we find him in his makeshift laboratory, and then also focus on his relationship with his neighbors. There is not much interaction between Klausner and his neighbors. We see Mrs. Saunders and then we see Dr. Scott, and we don't find any other neighbor in the story. So his world is a rather limited space where he is socially detached. And why is this so? Because of his dedication, because of his passion, and because of his obsession. The world cannot understand him neither when he is busy with his machine nor when he speaks about his theory. Next, differing perceptions, another theme, and the theme of illusion versus reality. Whether Klausner heard the sounds for real or were the sounds a figment of his imagination? This is a question raised in the minds of the readers. The science machine which could have proved his points is destroyed. This is Roald Dahl's skill as a storyteller. Readers wonder whether Klausner is a genius or obsessed or a mentally unstable man. Now, if you get a question, this is going to be a subjective answer. You may highlight this section. There are questions raised, and the destruction of the sound machine beyond repair keeps these questions permanently unanswered. Tree falling and destroying the invention leaves the question permanently unanswered. What would have happened had the machine not been destroyed? This is a question, and this makes the story such an interesting reading experience. We get a psychological insight into Klausner's character, into Klausner's personality, and there are many unanswered questions which adds to the curiosity of the readers. My dear students, I hope I am explaining this in an easy way. You can understand me quite easily. I hope you are able to do so. Next, we have the theme of knowledge, ignorance, scientific advancement, forbidden knowledge, moral obligation of science. Listen to me. Look at the screen. Even if you listen to me, this will help you while writing your answers. Next, secret and forbidden territory. This is a quotation from the text. Secret and forbidden territory of nature. Klausner now is trying to reach, to get involved in a secret and forbidden territory of nature. And what will be the impact of Klausner's theory on human civilization? Well, this question remains unanswered. This shows that the scientific advancement may lead us into a world of forbidden knowledge. And what about the moral obligation of science? Klausner's invention. To prove it, Klausner inflicts pain on nature. He is challenging the cycle of nature. He is causing harm to nature. But this is, after all, needed in order to make a breakthrough, in the field of science. Environment. Here, plants have life, and there is this quotation, "It's alive, isn't it?" Klausner tells this to Mrs. Saunders. And Roald Dahl highlights environmental issues like exploitation of nature, cutting of trees. Science fiction. Dahl's use of scientific and technological words and phrases to add authenticity to the story. And there is also the theme of illusion versus reality. We have detailed reference answers, reference materials. Do check the description box or the comment section for the playlist. Adjust the length of the answers, read the reference materials, listen to me, read your textbook and reference book, and you will be prepared for your examination. The scope is vast. Trust me, I know this is going to be a challenging task for you, but follow the steps, follow the tips, and you will succeed. Empathy. Dr. Scott's empathy for Klausner and Klausner's empathy for nature. The singing lesson, the theme of despair, sadness, cruelty, happiness. Miss Meadows' despair makes her rude, cold and cruel, unkind to others. She is hugging the knife. She is trying to hide her emotions. She is a self-conscious character and she is concerned about her public image. Now we have already provided detailed analysis of all these topics. Do check the playlist for a better understanding. The song A Lament and how Miss Meadows transmits her sadness to the girls is important. Learn the significance of the two songs. The two songs are very important. Miss Meadows' happiness again is as extreme as her sorrow. We also have the second song. The first song is a lament and the second song is a happy summer song. Next, dependency, desperation, reliance, social acceptance. Miss Meadows, 30 years of age, she is still unmarried, a spinster. Here, Catherine Mansfield deals with themes of solitariness of middle-aged women in society, emptiness of life without male companionship. Do check the answer. Is Miss Meadows a product of the times? You will get a detailed answer. Relationship considered a miracle. Her relationship is considered a miracle by others, and after the broken engagement, she would have to disappear somewhere. Another important quotation. So, Miss Meadows and her relationship is more of a convenient arrangement than a romantic pursuit. If you are asked to comment on the relationship between Basil and Miss Meadows, highlight this point. It is a convenient social arrangement than a romantic pursuit. Also prepare an answer on the contrasts used in the singing lesson. This is important. We have Miss Meadows trotting the cold corridors while the girls hurried, skipped, fluttered by. The beginning of the story. And then Miss Meadows was full of cold, sharp despair while the girls are bubbling with gleeful excitement. See how I have used my quotations. Girls are subdued. They are sorrowful now. But at the end, Miss Meadows is so happy that she is flying on the wings of hope, love and joy. Two songs, another example of contrast used by Catherine Mansfield. Her transition from gloom to joy. Prepare an answer. And then the contrast between Miss Meadows' despair and her happiness, both extremes. Role of music. Prepare an answer. The two songs, the impact of the two songs on Miss Meadows as well as on the girls. And Catherine Mansfield has used visual and acoustic images in order to emphasize the mournful tone of the piece. We have terms and phrases related to music. How does Miss Meadows conduct the singing lesson? She is a music teacher. So, concentrate and prepare a few points on the areas that I have highlighted from the singing lesson. And now it's time for me to deal with B. Wordsworth. We have the theme of escapism. B. Wordsworth uses escapism to deal with the futility of his dreary life. And what is the meaning of dreary life? The harsh realities of his life, his monotonous life. Role of fantasy, role of imagination, and he teaches this to the boy narrator. The boy narrator escapes into a world of fantasy and imagination in order to forget about his own hardships, his own relationship with his mother. But at the end, it is B.Wordsworth himself who shatters the illusion. Everything is false. Rootlessness, alienation, identity crisis. Now, V.S. Naipaul's novels deal with displacement, alienation, isolation of the Caribbean people. What is the meaning of this? This shows the effects of colonialism, which were far-reaching. Post-colonial Trinidad, the social context. In the place where B.Wordsworth lives, there is a new alien culture forced on the locals, and the native culture is banished. The fast vanishing culture and art of local people. We have the difference between the contrast between Calypso and the metropolitan culture. Calypso, the culture of the native culture of the colonized people, and metropolitan culture, the culture of the colonizers. Miguel Street explores this cultural divide, colonizers and the colonized. B.Wordsworth is the spiritual brother of White Wordsworth. He is tidily dressed, he speaks flawless English, but at the same time, he is a Trinidadian calypso singer. This is the cultural divide. There is the theme of identity crisis, and when you are explaining the identity crisis, do mention about Black Wordsworth and White Wordsworth. We have a detailed analysis of this as well, so do check our playlists. In V.S. Naipaul's novels and short stories, we have quest for identity. Living in a borrowed culture, there is the urge to assert one's cultural identity. Next, broken dreams of B.Wordsworth. He is a failed poet. He is writing a poem, perhaps the greatest poem which he wants to sing to the humanity, but at the end he realizes that his dream is broken. And then we have relationships, boy and his mother, boy and B.Wordsworth, friendship, the unusual friendship between the boy and B.Wordsworth despite their age difference. Love for nature is another important theme of B.Wordsworth. Quickly moving on to The Tempest, Acts 4 and 5, forgiveness, freedom, reconciliation, very, very important, prepare answers. The central motive and theme, forgiveness and reconciliation. Prospero's forgiving nature. And then the role of penitence, how Alonso changes, how he is penitent. There is the reunion of Ferdinand and Alonso. Reconciliation, and then the happy ending, the marriage. Caliban and Ariel are set free, role of freedom. Prospero keeps his word. What is the role of Ariel? It is through Ariel that Prospero arouses the conscience of the sinners, and he punishes the sinners with the help of Ariel and his minor workers. Ariel is faithful, he is obedient, he is prompt in carrying Prospero's orders, and at the end he is rewarded. He is set free. So the play ends in an atmosphere of tenderness, warmth of affection and goodwill. So mention this whenever you are writing an answer about forgiveness and reconciliation. Prospero is completely free from all bitterness against his enemies. He embraces Alonso, speaks to him most affectionately. He is very tender towards Ferdinand, and by his magic he arranges a meeting between the prince and his own daughter Miranda. Alonso feels very happy to see his son alive, and even happier to know that Ferdinand will marry Prospero's daughter Miranda. Gonzalo is equally happy at the way things have taken shape. So, we have magic, we have supernaturalism, Prospero's magic, and then how he abjures magic, how he summarizes his magic at the end. And then there are comic elements, Trinculo, Stefano and Caliban, and the coarse humor arising out of their actions. And then the romance, the happy ending, Ferdinand Miranda Union. See, it is so easy. If you think along these lines, then you will understand the critical analysis of any literary piece of work. Now, we are the music makers, poets, musicians, authors. Although seemingly alienated from society, have a vital role to play in society through their works. Their creations often shape destiny, and they are powerful and influence the events of the world. Yesterday, I uploaded a video where I answered the question, analyze the idea of art for art's sake in We Are the Music Makers. Check that and learn this answer. We also have the theme of timelessness of art. Art is timeless as well as eternal. Next, Dover Beach, declining faith. You will have to know about the features of the Victorian age, the moral, cultural bankruptcy, chaos, doubt, anxiety, the purposelessness. Some of you may find these terms a little difficult, but you must know them. You must know the features of Victorian age in order to understand Dover Beach. Check the playlist, and I hope that we will be able to help you to understand Dover Beach. These are new words. I cannot help it. These are difficult issues, I know, but these texts are complex and you are in class 12. So there must not be any shortcut. You must work hard. Still there is time. You can just prepare yourselves. In a world that is losing faith, there is loss of human values and man stands in the darkness with no solace. Love is the only anchorage. Love is the only hope to be true to one another. Pessimism and melancholy, the predominant note of Dover Beach. Prepare an answer, and we have this answer prepared for you as well. Just adjust the length of the answer according to your convenience and according to the question available. My dear students, this is the end of this session, and let's see what else can we do for you. All the best and don't panic.